Hello and welcome to the BMC Change Manager Quick Course. In this session, I will describe copy migration, a feature available in Change Manager. To use this feature, you must have a license for BMC Database Administration for DB2 or Object Administration for DB2 or BMC Recovery Management for DB2. With the copy migration feature, you can migrate LOB data using image copies and use image copies that are registered in syscopy or BMC xcopy. Copy migration removes versioning restrictions for migrations and supports history objects, and it provides more functionality when you are using the BMC backup and recovery products. Let's take a look. Copy migration is valid only for migrate work IDs. Standard Change Manager scope and change rule mechanisms apply. The scope must be at the tablespace or database level. A tablespace that has more than one table must include all tables, and the history tablespace and table must be included in the scope definition. Structure changes are not allowed. The most current full image copy is always used. When migrating implicit objects in DB2, the IMP-DS-DEF ZPARM must be set to yes, and the target must not be in a define no state. We will warn you as a reminder, migration of XML objects is not supported. To use copy migration, specify the scope and change rules as you normally do. Analysis validates your input and produces a migrate work list that includes an export in phase 1 and an import in phase 2. Phase 1 is executed on the source DB2 subsystem. BMC NGT copy identifies which image copies to use and creates export files that contain identifying information. Phase 2 is executed on the target DB2 subsystem. The first thing to happen is the create SQL for the objects being migrated. If you were doing a data-only migrate, the creates would not be in the work list. The export files created in phase 1 are passed to BMC NGT Recover that validates and imports the image copies into the corresponding target objects. Change Manager includes the commands needed in the work list to rebuild indexes, check LOBs and data, create and check for foreign keys if needed, execute image copies if not done during the import process, and execute runstats commands. You can run phases 1 and 2 on the same or different DB2 subsystems. If running on different subsystems, create your receive type work ID on the target subsystem, then execute that work ID using the work list generated on the source subsystem. Let's walk through the copy migration process. From the Analysis JCL Processing Interface panel, place an S next to Override and press Enter. Select Unload Option 6 and press Enter. Default values are populated here. By making the selections on the previous panels, new keywords will be included in the analysis options, the ALUINDD statement. This tells the analysis process to generate a work list using the copy migration feature. Copy export tells analysis to use BMC NGT copy, export, and BMC NGT recover import. EXPMAXTS tells analysis how many table spaces to include in a single export-import file. The default is 100. R plus sync replace tells analysis to include syntax for NGT recover to replace the data in all of the table spaces. After successfully running analysis with the new keywords, a work list that includes the commands required for a successful copy migration is produced. Let's look at some of these commands. Here is the worklist export command. The export process invokes BMC NGT copy, so this is a -BMCC worklist command. Options max task 1,1 is always included to ensure that NGT copy will use only one task to create the export file and include all table spaces in the list in that export file. DS name points to the export file that will be dynamically allocated by NGT copy. The aux lob keyword is always included to ensure that lob table spaces are automatically included if they exist. The reuse yes option is always included to allow restart or start over processing of the Change Manager worklist. Change Manager provides an explicit list of all the table spaces objects to include in the scope. If any tables in the scope have XML columns, you will receive an error message and the worklist will not be created. If you want to include history tables, you must include their table spaces in the scope definition. Here is the worklist import command. The import process invokes NGT recover, so it is a -BMCV worklist command. The import using keywords point to the export file created by NGT copy in the export command. The change table from to keywords will have entries only for tables where the owner and/or the name are different between the source and the target. Indexes no is always specified because we follow up with a separate step to do rebuild index all. Reset is always included to tell NGT recover to reset the log points in each data page. Update versions is always included to instruct NGT recover to call the DB2 repair versions utility when needed. We can direct NGT recover to create image copies of the table spaces while processing the import command by including the output information in the out copy yes keywords. The import commands are followed by separate rebuild index all commands for each table space. The aux lob keyword is always included so that NGT recover rebuilds the auxiliary indexes if they exist. A tform command is used for implicit table spaces. Execution will use this to look up the database table space name in the catalog and format that into the command before passing it to NGT recover. If your work list includes lobs, Change Manager performs additional checks. If the image copies used for the base table space and the auxiliary table spaces are not at the same consistent point in time, import will set auxiliary check pending on the base table space and check pending on the auxiliary table space. To validate the consistency between auxiliary and base and clear the restrictive status, we include a check lob on the auxiliary table spaces, followed by check data on the base table space. Thank you for your time. For more information on any BMC Change Manager feature, please visit the quick courses in this series.